Hello. I think it's been about a year since I first started doing my TikToks. Um, and a lot has happened in a year. Um, I soon discovered after I started that I was right. I do have ADHD, and who knows if I have autism. But yeah, my family is definitely a neurodivergent family. I have done Dutch tests and realized I had to work on my hormones and doing gut tests to make sure my guts are okay. My gut is okay. And I'm also checking in to see if I have any connection to POTS and EDS because I have a bit of hypermobility. And who knows if I deal with histamine and mast cells and all that kind of stuff. But I'm still on that journey. Right now, I've finished doing a secondary Dutch test after my first one since last summer, just to see how things are improving. And I am taking GI supplements to help with my gut healing. Back in October, November, I was doing really well. I was like really on a great program for changing the way I eat, and it was just so much better. And I was losing weight, and I got down to 121 pounds, which was crazy. And I was like, oh my God. And then the election came, and I don't want to blame it on that stress, but things were at a standstill. Um, and my period was like a no show for a while and came late. And I've been dealing with a lot of bloat after eating, even though I'm not like eating like crazy heavy. I mean, I still eat normal. I just try to like eat smaller portions, and I still eat pizza, but I'll do it gluten free. And but yeah, I am back up to like 126, which isn't bad. I know most people out there are probably killed to be 126 pounds, but when you were on a certain trajectory and all of a sudden it stalls and it's backpedaling and you feel bloated all the time, and having a bowel movement is just been weird ever since I had my daughter, and it's getting even weirder. And you're hitting close to 49, and you're dancing with perimenopause. You just don't know if you're in it yet. I mean, I know I would know because I'm not quite having like crazy hot flashes yet, but I was having a lot of mental stuff with like feeling like I couldn't function anymore and energy issues and things like that. So I realized I did a test for medication and realized that I needed methylated supplements because I wasn't like methylating, and could have other conditions like stuff with dopamine issues, and apparently those are connected. And I don't have my list in front of me, but like right now I'm pretty much preparing all this paperwork to have a big like folder for myself about all my health stuff. Because I think it's interesting now that there's companies that do genetic testing for you and see like how you deal with like medications, or just see what kind of variants you have in your genes and genetic makeup. And sometimes you have it from one parent, sometimes you can have it from both parents, which is interesting. Um, so yeah, it's been a wild ride for a year, and I'm glad I just have this outlet to talk about stuff. I went to the city today to hang out with some friends from high school. It was really cool. We had a brunch together, and it was nice to catch up. And then I decided to drive to my old neighborhood because that's where my high school was, and I parked and walked around the school. It's a different high school now, but the makeup of it is very much the same, and the interior looks very much the same. I didn't go inside, I just looked at the window. And then I decided to take the walk home to what used to be my house, and it was fun to see that. It's like 6 blocks. I don't know. It's not a lot of blocks, really. It isn't. But it was really cool, and I ran into old neighbor friend of mine. Um, so yeah, here I am on the precipice of going to turn 49 in May, and 2 days before I turn 49, my daughter will turn 6, and then in end of June, my son will turn 10. And by October, my husband and I will have been a couple completely for 20 years, which is crazy. Um, but I'm trying to keep some good goals for this year. Um, Focusing on the importance of my health and all women's health. Healthcare is very important. Women tend to be ignored more than men, and we have been, like, a lot of us have been kind of finding out we have ADHD through starting perimenopause, or just getting older, and just our executive functioning is changing, or we just have to do more to keep our energy going. And it's interesting how ADHD affects so many things, or is intertwined with so many things. And I always would tell doctors, I know I have a nervous system issue. I wouldn't know what to call it. Doctors would just say, you have anxiety, you have depression, and they would give me Prozac, which I still take, and I think it helps to a degree, but there's more going on. There's more going on. There's a lot of sensory stuff. There's a lot of stuff in me that just gets very and I've discovered a couple people who are really great. There's a program called Tracy Heal, or Heal with Tracy. I don't have the link for it right now. Maybe I'll find it later. But she does a lot of stuff for hypermobility. And right now I'm working. I used to think, oh my God, my vagus nerve is all out of control. But I think it's just the tension of the muscles. And I think I've realized something that I've never been told about hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is a heart condition my mom had, is that it connects to muscular skeletal issues. So I think we have issues with tension in our body that, like, holds, or muscles that don't work properly, some muscles that want to fire when others should. And then you put hypermobility with that. And who knows if there's POTS. I know that there were times, it doesn't happen as often now, but there were times before when I was younger that I would get up fast and all of a sudden vision would go and then come back. I've always described it to doctors and they were just like, I don't know. But the mast cell stuff, the histamine intolerance, or like the triggers, that makes sense to me, because I knew I had allergies growing up, but I also had so many triggers, like perfume, hairspray, smoke, pot. I was just, my nose was just like an easy, it was like, I was like, oh, that smells toxic to me. And even to the point now where I smell the off-gassing of broccoli or certain vegetables, and I'm like, that doesn't smell good. So whether it's correct or not, my body's definitely telling me, oh, that's not good. So that's been interesting. Yeah. So anyway, so we'll see what this year is going to be like for me. And then, of course, we have to match that up with what's going on politically in our country, in the world. And that's another stress. I don't really want to go too deep into it because it's painful and stressful. But I think it's important to focus on the personal stories and finding people through TikTok that are helpful, like Tracy Heal. It's a great program. And then there's another person called Dr. Beth Westy, who I've done the Dutch test with, and she's prescribed these tinctures that have been helping. I did the GI test and stuff. I think that both have been helpful. There's always stuff going on, and nothing's going to be like a perfect cure, especially when you think you have invisible illness or chronic stuff that you can't really pinpoint, and there's more than one thing going on. But it seems like there's community out there for this stuff, and we're starting to find it through TikTok and the Facebook videos that are probably from the extension of TikTok. So I'm just gonna do the best to take care of myself, my health, my family's health, and advocate for neurodivergent people everywhere, especially women, because women's healthcare is just very lacking. It needs to not be that way. I don't know if we're going to get a change anytime soon, but we have to keep fighting for it. All right, guys, have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time.